Catra comes near her. A little before she goes princess of flowers.
Hello, fellow Ethereans, and welcome back with part 2 of the Catra Comprehensive Review. Catra has several bases of operations in the mini comics, as well as other storybook plot lines. The Dark Forest in the mini comics is her main base of operation. The Fright Zone is absent in the mini comics. The Fright Zone is never discussed in the mini comics, even though it is conceptually featured in the toy line. So one of the accessories that comes with the Crystal Castle is a map of Etheria, and the Fright Zone is marked right at the center of the map. And so it's part of the toy line mythology, but it's not mentioned in the mini comics at all. So Catra's main base of operations is the Dark Forest in the mini comics. And later on in the series, wave 2 of the series, it's revealed that she also has a base of operations or headquarters in the Valley of the Lost, called the Treeplex. Presumably, the Treeplex is also featured in the season 2 opening episode of the show, One to Count On. The base that she works out of there is presumably the Treeplex as well. In the TV series, Catra is voiced by the incomparable Melanie Britt. Interestingly enough, Melanie Britt also voices Shira Adora, Octavia, and Castaspella, as well as a slew of other characters in the series. Melanie Britt is also known to voice Batgirl and several other characters in the Filmation pantheon of cartoon series. Catra becomes force captain of the Horde forces after Adora defects to the Great Rebellion. This is most likely done to reflect her position of power in the toy line. Since the cartoon series had to marry remnants of or portions of the Masters of the Universe toy line or cartoon series with the Princess of Power brand, the evil Horde was transported over into the cartoon series to be the main villain of the cartoon series. In the Masters of the Universe toy line, the evil Horde was a secondary faction of evil characters. The primary faction was Skeletor and the Evil Warriors. The Evil Horde came on, and they were basically tacked on as an unofficial third wheel of characters that also fought against He-Man and the Heroic Warriors, and often fought against Skeletor and the Evil Warriors as well. In order to give them top billing, and also to find a way to promote Masters of the Universe product, the Evil Horde was taken over to Princess of Power, and again, as I said before, was made the main faction of villains for the cartoon series. In order to do that, Catra had to become a part of the Evil Horde. And because Hordak was already in a position of leader, she had to essentially take a back seat to Hordak and report it to him as the primary leader. That's not to say that Catra did not get her run as a major force to reckon with. She got several episodes as the primary villain because of the fact that she was a force captain. One example, of course, is the episode One to Count On, which introduced Entrapta and Claudine as characters. She also got a nice dose of character development, unlike some of the other characters of the the evil Horde. And she appeared in 37 out of the 93 episodes of the series. Her main ability is transforming into a panther granted by her mask. Now, her backstory in itself doesn't exist in the cartoon series, and not really in the mini comics. We don't know where Catra came from. Was she from Etheria? The Masters of the Universe Classics toy line suggests she's actually from the Tri-Solar System, which is from the New Adventures portion of the brand. So we don't know where Catra herself comes from, but her powers originate in the cartoon series from the Magic Hat. Horde steals the mask from the Queen of the Magic Hats and gives it to Catra, who then learns how to use the mask, which grants her the powers of changing into a purple panther, I believe teleportation, and the emission of freeze rays. Along with having her position of power, Catra also has a very Starscream-esque desire to take control of the evil Horde for herself away from Hordak. Catra's vintage toy had 3 releases. She had her original release in 1985, which came with a steed, or a steed was released in the 1985 wave for Catra in the form of a horse named Storm. In the second wave, in the 1986 wave, Catra got a variant, Scratching Sound Catra, who had Claudine, the pink lion, as a steed. In wave 3, in 1987, Catra got yet another variant released in the form of Shower Power Catra, and her steed then was Silver Storm. In the case of Storm was never shown in the cartoon series. Storm did have featuring in the She-Ra magazine and I believe the UK magazine or the UK comic series. But Storm did not have much development beyond that. She was Catra's flying steed. Some people didn't understand why in Wave 2 she would get a pink lion to be her steed. By this point, Catra had developed an icon status because of the fact that she could change into this giant purple panther. So why would she need a pink tiger or pink lion to be her steed? Storm made sense, because if Catra needed to fly off somewhere, she had a Pegasus that she could do that with. But why would Catra need a land-based steed, since she herself could transform into a giant purple panther? My logic for that would be, or is, that there are times when Catra wants to remain in human form, whether it's to cast a spell or whether it's to be able to command in battle. And so that would explain why Catra would have a land-based steed. Claudine is also good muscle, so why not have a steed that was land-based? And also, Catra could turn into a purple panther and charge into battle with her pink lion accomplice. It makes sense to me. Going back to the variants, She-Ra had her original release. She had Starburst She-Ra. She also had Bubble Power She-Ra. So in every wave, the faction leaders would have a variant released in order to maintain representation in the toy line. Essentially, the logic is that the previous release has already saturated the market. No one's going to be buying any more She-Ras because most of the buying market has already bought She-Ra, but we still want She-Ra to be in the toy line, so we're going to release a variant of She-Ra, so we still have her there. So original She-Ra is replaced with Starburst She-Ra. Starburst She-Ra is replaced with Bubble Power She-Ra. And so it was for Catra. Catra always had to have a representation in the toy line because she was a faction leader. She represented the bad girls in the line. And so she got her release in 1985. She got a variant in the form of Scratching Sound Catra in 1986. I do not have Catra Scratching Sound Catra in my collection yet, but her variant had the ability to create a scratching sound when you pressed a lever on her back. And the main change with Scratching Sound Catra, besides the action feature, was the leggings became pink leggings with silver tiger stripes, and her mask changed. She got a new mask for her second release. Her third release in 1987 was Shower Power Catra, and that variant came with a gun that could soak up water, and you could squirt water out at enemies. And this was the answer to She-Ra's Bubble Power action feature. This variant of Catra came with a cape, the water squirt gun, a new cat mask, and her cat skirt changed as well. The cat skirt changed with every version of Catra. The third Catra also came with a sword. Every Catra came with the cat shield. But this was a big deal because she finally got a sword released along with the shield. So the final version of Catra came with quite a few accessories. The variants in the original were also packaged with their steeds. So you could either buy Catra single carded, or you could buy her. The original Catra came with Storm. The Scratching Sound Catra came with Claudine. And the Shower Power Catra came with Silver Storm. So Catra was alone in her toy line for the most part, aside from Entrapta. But she did get some fun steeds in there with her. Join me next time for part 3 of the Catra Comprehensive Review. This one's been a doozy, but it's well worth it.